Roy, you were one of the first boxers that were being considered to possibly fight an MMA fighter. Just based on your experience with Dana and then the UFC, do you think a Mayweather-McGregor fight could actually happen?
Of course it could, because it was so big back then when it was being talked about with me. That would have been the biggest fight of my career by far, I know. So if me and Anderson Silva had boxed, that would have been the biggest boxing match of my career.
But it seemed like Dana didn't want to do it.
Well, he didn't want to do it, but it's like Dana is not necessarily the owner now. They've sold it. So people that make decisions usually try to make monetary decisions. And I don't know if he was looking at it for the long term because he wanted to demolish the brand, but these two fighting, just like me and him fighting in a boxing match, was not going to demolish the UFC brand. That just meant, just like with James Toney lost to the UFC guy, it didn't demolish boxing. Of course he's not going to be Randy Couture with what Randy does. If he don't care, I tell you he thinks he is, unless he goes out and learns how to do that and take some time out to train at that, no, you're not going to beat him. But most of these fighters like Conor, they do train at boxing. So their chances to beat a boxer is much better than a boxer's chance to beat a UFC guy who doesn't train UFC at all. And as we saw, Tony didn't do no UFC training at all. You understand me? You're not going to beat him like that. So I can't see how it hurts the brand, because boxing, they do learn striking, but it's a whole different level of striking in a pure boxing match than it is in a UFC fight. To be quite honest with you, either one of the Diaz brothers probably would beat him at boxing. You feel me?
Yeah.
But because he got everything else mixed in it, he forgot beat Nate the second time. Nate almost had him out the second time too, though. So it's like they give you a hard time, and they known for striking. Now you gonna tell you gonna outstrike the best striker in the game now?
Roy, did you see the video of him sparring in boxing?
No, I didn't see it, but it don't matter to me. It all depends on who you sparring with. If I show my 17-year-old son sparring with you, my 17-year-old son will look like a killer. But if I put him with somebody that boxes and 17-year-old, he not gonna look too well.
He was sparring a former world champion, IBF, Chris Van Heerden.
Yeah, and he probably did pretty good with him.
Yeah.
Because in boxing, I'm just saying though, in boxing, that's what I'm saying though. In boxing, we don't know what Chris was doing. Was Chris taking either? Was Chris going all in? Because
So
Chris
he was just giving him some angles.
That's my point. That he was pretty much handling him, just giving a few angles.
Yeah.
So imagine what Floyd Mayweather gonna do with that.